and inspiring events. So, starting with the invocation, so I would like to request Bhupen sir to start the this convocation with the invocation, the Saraswati Vandanam. So, starting with the invocation, so I would like to request Bhupen sir to start the this convocation with the invocation, the Saraswati Vandanam. Starting with the invocation, so I would like to request Bhupen sir to start the this convocation with the invocation, the Saraswati Vandanam. Starting with the invocation, so I would like to request Bhupen sir to start the this convocation with the invocation, the Saraswati Vandanam. Starting with the Thank you, sir. So, coming to the next, I would like to request Dr. Naren, sir, for the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ataullah. First of all, I would like to give my sincere thanks to organizer for giving me the opportunity for welcome address. Good morning to everyone. The 42nd annual conference of Ispsw organized by the Indian Society of Professional Social Work. It is my honor to begin by welcoming our chief guest, Professor Kanak Sapapati, Secretary Dr. Sema Prasad, Research Foundation. Despite his busy schedules, Sir is graciously accepted our invitation to grace this occasion. Sir, on the behalf of association, I extend my warm welcome and our heartfelt thanks for being with us today, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
I would like also to give my sincere thanks to welcoming our speaker and chairperson for accepting our invitation, for being ready to deliver a lectures and chair the session. Thank you, sir, for your presence and participation. Those who are going to speak on different topic and sharing the scientific session as well as the audition and keynote address. So on the behalf of association, you are also welcome, and my heart also feel very warm welcome to you, sir. A warm welcome to all participation for joining us online. We appreciate you taking the time to connect with us. Thank you and welcome you are also. The theme of this conference is very significant. I hope the deliberation and discussion will greatly enrich our knowledge in the field of social work. Once again, I welcome you all and wish you a great day. Thank you. Welcome once again. Over to you, Ataullah.
Thank you, sir, for this welcome address. Next, I would like to request Bhupen sir for the overview of the conference. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ata. So as we were planning from long back this conference, and finally the day came, and although we are on the virtual platform, it was expected to have in a real life world. But I'm happy that we got opportunity to our chief guest sir here, and many professionals across the country, even few of them participated. They were able to join from US and Australia as well. So for the overviewing the conference, just I would like to brief this 42nd annual national conference is scheduled for 3 days, and it has four proposed workshops. Two already has been conducted, one from our research resource person that was focused on the research, and another was focused on the monitoring and basically the social work, clinical social work part. It was conducted by one of professional from US. He is a practicing social worker in US. And this after these workshops, we have another workshop that would be a full day workshop on 1st of July, means post conference workshop would be conducted by a few resource persons along with our president, sir. And apart from these pre and post workshops, we have very good number of research participations. We have 5 invited talks, 1 oration, 2 symposiums, and 4 different kind of awards, which usually being conducted by Indian Society of Professional Social Work. So these awards are for the best research conducted by faculty, best research conducted by professional social work practitioner, best research conducted by PhD and MPhil or research scholars, and best research conducted in the field of disability, also in the field of family. Apart from these award papers, we have almost 136 papers, pre-papers, which were related to our sub-themes, would be read during the conference, which are divided in different 16 sessions. And overall, these sessions and the conference will be delivered, every aspect would be delivered in the online mode only with the Zoom platform. So we would be concluding this seminar by 30th of June at 4 p.m. So this is our overall perspective. Total, if we talk about the participation perspective, total we have 136 registered delegates, those who shown their interest to the conference. Along with that, we have invited several distinguished professionals, faculties from across the country to deliver their expertise and share the different sessions. Thank you, Ataullah.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving this overview. So I must say, all the participants and delegates are going to delve into the different fields of social work. Thank you, sir. So now we have a presidential address, which is given by Professor Kanagraj, sir, who is the president of this society as well. So I request Professor Kanagraj, sir, for the presidential address. Over to you, sir.
Most respected guest of honor, Professor Kanaga Sabhabati ji, one of the scholars inspired me, particularly in looking into the Indian context and what works here and what not works here. We have Professor Kanaga Sabhabati, who has done pioneering work on entrepreneurship and economic development that is happening in India. And it is our fortune that he is going to deliver the inaugural address today. So at the outset, I thank Professor Kanaga Sabhabati for gracing this inaugural function. I also thank my good friend, Dr. Bhupendra Singh, who is taking all efforts to organize this program, meticulously taking care of everything. And I also thank my good friend Kapse, the the Joint Secretary, who is also taking a lot of efforts. And I am honored to deliver this presidential address today. Social work is struggling to become a profession in India. Social work has not become a profession as a whole, but still certain specializations, specific fields of social work have reached that stage. Almost they have reached this stage, but still there are a lot of things to be done in those fields. I am referring to medical and psychiatric social work because of the government's passing of this allied medical professions bill, and it has become the act. These two professions, clinical social work professions, the fields have acquired the professional status. But other fields like mine, community development, family, child, youth welfare, women development, this correctional administration, and so on, have not acquired the professional status. And the generic social workers also are struggling to gain the professional status. So today, when we look at the social work profession and social workers, professional social workers as such, we are under deep crisis. We are experiencing a significant problem. Social work profession is at crossroads. So when the symptoms are very clear, when we look at social work profession, we don't know what is the prestige of social worker in different organizations, what is the level of salary, job satisfaction. We have a specialization called human resource development, labor welfare. And still we have not done any studies, concrete studies to know what is the status of social work professionals and what is the salary, living conditions, or this job satisfaction. We don't know. And when we look at our students, I am working in Northeast India for about more than 20 years, 2 decades. I have crossed my survey. I have completed 2 decades of service. I am entering into the 3rd decade of my service here. So when we look at the salary, they are getting, the salaries are not matching their postgraduate qualification or MPhil. Many scholars, I got PhDs also, still they are working in government missions, voluntary organizations, still the salaries are low. And when we look at, this is very important, when we call profession with professional education, training, getting low salary, low prestige, even the professions which are having medical social work has not grown very much, but psychiatric social work has grown very much thanks to NIMHANS, CIP Ranchi, and other special institutions who have given a better standardized education, professional training. Because of that, they have grown. But medical social work has to reach that status, still it is struggling. And when it comes to others, as I already said, their problem is still serious. Social workers are suffering from deep identity crisis. We are not clear how are we different from other social scientists, and whether we have not convinced the society or the nation as a whole that we are better than ordinary social scientists or psychologists. This is a very serious problem. And actually, the roots are historical. We need to trace the roots and we need to address that. And very important, immediately what is coming to our mind when we say social work profession, the social work associations. The role played by social work associations for promoting social work as a profession in Indian cultural civilizational context. We should remember that India is not simple a country or a nation, but it is a civilization with long history, the only civilization which has the longest history in the world and surviving in spite of double colonization, continuous attack. Even today, we are resilient. We are a civilization of resilience. So with that, actually, our profession as such is not recognizing that, and our professional bodies are not recognizing that. And we are trying again, continuing the colonialist practices. And we are trying to, social work was introduced as a colonial agency. It was an imperialistic agency. And that trend, that is continued by professional associations. So professional associations are actually agents of colonialism. I am sitting on the chair of the president. I am recognizing that social work as such is continuing as a colonial agency, and it is trying to implement the Western agenda and trying to bring all the things through our conferences. If you look at our conference brochures, of course, ISPSW is much different. Its focus is more on the grounded problems. But as a whole, if you look at social work professional associations, we are suffering from deep intellectual, moral, and spiritual inferiority complex, and we are feeling subservient to the West. So that is deep problem, and at our heart and in our deep mind, we feel that we have to follow the West. In everything, we have to follow all our developments that are happening in our curriculum, and everything is influenced by what is happening in the West, in the intellectual circles of the West. So professional associations, most of the associations are defunct, continuous. We don't have any association which have 100 years of history. 1936, we started social work in India, but we don't have any association in India which is surviving for a century. So that is itself. So, and then these associations are controlled by a few, I call monopolistic and oligopolistic tendencies. And another thing, these associations are highly centralized. That's why it is easy for them to capture and control, perpetuate the domination. And this is very serious problem. And this we have only national associations. We don't have state chapters, and we don't have local chapters, and there is no functioning throughout the year. Only annual conferences are happening. Even in the annual conferences, the agendas are what? The agendas are received wisdom from the West. And we don't see what is needed here, what are the problems, what is working, what is not working. So we need innovative solutions. This conference is meant for finding out innovative solutions to make social work a profession in India, and successfully, effectively addressing our own challenges. Understand, we need a Bharatiya Drishti, Indian perspective we need. We are the great people in the world today. India is again resurgent. Not everyone will recognize. Nobody can deny that India is resurgent, not as an economy, but as a civilization. India is resurgent, and this is a great opportunity. We have to utilize that. And National Education Policy 2020 has come out with a lot of space for inclusion of Indic and non-Western knowledge systems to enrich our curriculum and make our profession. It is high time that we make our associations decentralized, more inclusive and participatory. With this, I conclude my presidential address. Thank you, one and all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. I hope the challenges and issues which you have raised over here that we are facing in our practice, I hope ISPSW and through this conference will address through this platform, and you will help us a lot, sir, in this. Thank you, sir. Next, we will be moving towards Professor Kanagasabapati, sir, for the chairman, for the chief guest address. Sir is currently serving as a secretary at Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Research Foundation, and sir is also the former chairperson at ICSSR. So we are deeply honored by your presence here today. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ataullah. My dear friend and president of the Indian Society of Professional Social Work, Dr. Kanagaraj Iswaran, Dr. Naren, Dr. Kapse, Vice Presidents, General Secretary Dr. Bhupendra Singh, Joint Secretaries, Treasurer, EC members, professors, scholars, guests, and friends. I am extremely happy to inaugurate this 42nd Annual National Conference of the Indian Society of Professional Social Work today. So, a very good morning to all of you. First of all, I congratulate the organizers for arranging this conference. In fact, 3-day conference, but extending to 4-5 days with all these workshops and all. So it's my pleasure to spend some time with you today morning during this inaugural function. As all of us know, social work is a very important subject. And you are all teachers, scholars, and practitioners in this field. You know, in India, the basic foundations are the family and the society. So the main aspect, fundamental aspect of every society, every family is to help each other. So that is how our life grows. You know, without family and society, there is no meaning in life. So in that connection, these families, communities, societies are very, very important. You know, as Dr. Kanagaraj was pointing out, we are still remain to an extent, in some cases to a very large extent, under the colonial mindset. So for a long time, you know, we have been under the impression that the universal theories, the Western theories, would be applicable everywhere. No, it is not true. Taking my own experience in 1991-92, after I completed my PhD in finance in the field of stock markets, you know, we were under the impression that there is no savings in India because that is where we were taught. And in 1991, I remember the government of India wanted to promote the stock market habits. So for that purpose, they organized these investor awareness campaigns in different parts of the country. I was one of the resource person speakers going to different parts of the country, particularly the big cities, to talk to the elite sections of people, educated sections of people, doctors, lawyers, academicians, entrepreneurs, you know, richer people, people with money to invest and all. So whenever we go, we used to go regularly in those days. You know, we talk to the people, we tell them that, you know, instead of investing money in banks as deposits, it is better that you people invest in stock market so that you will get more return. You know, we have seen in every place after our lectures, there would be question and answer session, but nobody would be asking questions to us. So while returning, we used to discuss, you know, how is India going to develop? While in the Western countries, 30, 40, 50% of the people invest in stock market, why in India only 1%, 2% invest in stock market? And why that savings was not there? This was the impression because this is how we were taught. And after a few years, by the mid 1990s, I happened to become by chance the cooperative bank president of my village in Coimbatore district. So when I went there, I saw many people coming and investing money in this cooperative bank. So we wanted to know the reason behind it because 3 years back when we were going to different parts of Tamil Nadu, particularly South India, when we were talking to the educated and the elite sections, when we asked them to invest money in stock markets, there was no response. But at the village level, you know, after we took over, there were huge deposits. In fact, when I went to take over as the president, at that time it was just 22 lakhs. But within a year, the deposits rose to 5 crores, beyond more than 5 crores. This was a surprise to me. As a finance teacher, economics teacher, I used to discuss in classrooms, Indians don't invest money, don't save much money. But in reality, that is not the case. So we wanted to find out whether this is actually true. So I went with my students to, but in the western part of Tamil Nadu initially, we came to know that everywhere people were saving money. Only thing is they were not investing in what we call formal avenues like banks. So, but they were saving money, but they were saving large part of money through what we call indigenous methods. So this was the problem. So I went to a village level cooperative bank in those days, and we were surprised to see that there were 45 crore deposit in that bank, village level bank. So this was the level of saving. So that time we realized that it is not that people don't save money in India. The problem is with us, research scholars, teachers, uh, academicians. We don't know what is happening at the ground level. So there is a huge gap that is existing between the universities, between the colleges, and the functioning societies. This was the problem that we noticed. So only after that we started going to different parts of the country to study as to how the Indian societies, Indian economic systems, Indian business systems function. So our society is in fact the open air university. When you go to the society, you know much more than what you read within the university libraries, because our textbooks largely written on the basis of understanding of the Western scholars do not reflect the realities. In this connection, I'll tell you one important point. I remember that in 1905, Max Weber, the famous sociologist of those days, he wrote a book. He wrote different books on India, books on other countries also, China particularly. So many of you senior professors, scholars would be knowing that Max Weber said countries like India and China would never progress because they believe in, their societies believe in karma. Their societies believe in rebirth. Only those countries that follow Protestant ethics would progress, economically progress. This was his thesis. Because at that time, the Protestant countries like America, UK, they were all progressing. So based on that, he wrote it. But even in his own lifetime, after some time, a Catholic country, Italy, was growing economically. So there were questions raised about it. So this was the theory given by understanding given by a Western scholar, Western professor, sociologist. But you would be surprised to know that even today, if you go to our universities, we still teach those theories. But in India, what is happening? In China, what is happening? In the Western countries, what is happening? In the last 25 years, all the Western approaches have largely failed, whether it is economic approaches or sociological approaches. They have largely failed because all their theories are based on their own understanding of their society. Western societies are largely individualistic societies. Moreover, they have little history compared to a civilization like India. So, whether it is sociological theory or whether it is their economic theories like socialism or capitalism, based on their own limited experiences. But for a civilization like India, China, or different parts of the world, other parts of the world, those theories do not apply. But unfortunately, we teach them today. Even today, we teach them. As Dr. Kanagaraj was pointing out, today India is emerging as a global power. This is because of the fundamental strength of the Indian society. In fact, India has always remained as a global power most of the time. You may be knowing even during the last 2 millennia, for about more than 17 centuries, we remained as the topmost economic power. And our decline started only from the early 19th century. and decline was largely due to the destruction of the British policies. So this is the reason. And as a result, we became a poor country. In fact, we were made to become a poor country. So what was the reason that was responsible to make this country great and to make and to and for the country to remain as a global power in different parts, in different fields, whether you take economics or education or mathematics or metallurgy or technology or medicine? What is the reason? What was the reason? The reason is fundamental strength of the society. So we became a very poor country. And at the time of independence, our contribution to global GDP was just 4%. 2000 years back, it was 33%. And after independence, unfortunately, the policymakers of India, they believed in only the Western approaches. So socialistic approach, and then this globalization approach, these were all followed. They were all not suitable for India. We realized when we go and did our field studies. But in spite of it, India has been growing. And in the last few years, of course, society-friendly policies are being made, as a result of which India is emerging as a power. So you see the last 70, 75 years. 75 years back, we were one of the poorest countries in the world. Today, we are the third largest economy. And we are projected to be the most potential nation in the world. We don't say it. All the international agencies, global bodies, they are all unanimously saying that India has the potential to emerge as the global power. If you see the history of the world, nowhere in the world in a period of just 75 years, a country has become a very powerful nation from being a very poor nation 75 years back. This is due to the fundamental strength of our society. This is what we have to understand. So, as Kanagaraj was pointing out, the social sciences, not just social work, is in a crisis. It is time for us to reorient ourselves. Because all our field studies over the last 30, 35 years show that Indian society is something completely different. Our society is family oriented, society oriented. So wherever we go, we see the development largely driven by the society. I come from Coimbatore. Coimbatore today is one of the most industrialized clusters of India. Most industrialized clusters. Who made it possible? It is not the government, it is the society. It is the very ordinary people of the country, of this region, who made it possible. It is not just Coimbatore alone. There are about 4,000, 5,000 clusters like this in India. Different parts. So whether you take Ludhiana or Surat, there are different clusters. So it is the society that is pushing this. And Indian society, in spite of its huge diversity, remains peaceful today. Why? Because of the nature of the society. It is the nature of the Indian society. We want peace. We want we want to take everybody into our fold. That is the reason why we live as close-knit communities. The main difference between the West and the and our country is this. In the Western countries, there are only three entities. One, individual. Second one is market. Third one is state. Three major entities: individual, market, and the state. In fact, in between, they have largely destroyed the family system. They have largely destroyed the community system, as a result of which they are suffering today. It is not just that they are suffering at the social level, they are suffering at the economic level, at the cultural level. That is the reason why they don't have savings. Their saving rate is 3%, 4%, whereas India's saving rate is 31%. And there is no peace in the Western societies because they live like individuals, they destroyed communities. But in India, it is not like that. You have layers after layers. Nobody is an individual here. We are all part of our families and we have close knit relatives, friends. We have our own circles. We have our village level groups, town level groups, city groups. This is how layers after layers we have built, and this is what is protecting us today. It is not just protecting us, it is helping us to grow and helping us to maintain peace. And unfortunately, this is not reflected in our textbooks. We don't discuss about it in our textbooks. Even social work, you know, it is part of our life to help others because we see the entire world as Vasudevam Kudumbakam. The whole world is part of one family. So that is how we tend to help each other. Helping each other is one's duty. It is not something extra. That is how we are made to believe. We have seen in all our studies across India uh, as to how our societies help the larger societies. In fact, in 2011, when I was um, doing our field studies in Northeast, where Dr. Kanagaraj is an expert in that area. We were in Arunachal Pradesh. And in Arunachal, they were telling us, sir, every fortnight, no, the entire village assembles. We go outside, all of us go there, take up all the work, road work, some building ponds or building temples or whitewashing them. They are doing like this. So in India, we have seen in different parts of the country, people taking up work on their own. In Tamil Nadu, if you want me to tell, it is the societies that contribute a lot, but they don't call it as anything great, but they are doing great social work. In Coimbatore, in our region, uh, the governments, the state authorities, they were not taking care of rivers. They were not taking care of water bodies. It is, private groups. They are taking care of it and they are doing it very wonderfully, as a result of which the water levels have come up. This is just one example. I have seen in different places people building roads on their own. It is the people who have taken up the state's responsibility and doing this work. This is social work, but we don't recognize it. So the main problem for the for the uh, social sciences, and it relates to social work also, is that there is huge difference, huge gap between what is there at the ground level and what is there at the society level. So if we want the social sciences, including social work, to be recognized as a profession, to be recognized as an important subject, the point that we have to do is we have to connect them. It is not enough if we remain teaching Maxwell Weber's failed theories even today. What we have to do is we have to go to the field, see what is happening, what kind of social works are happening, even though we may not put them under the banner social work. You incorporate that and then begin to talk to the students, begin to talk to the government, then begin to talk to the corporates, begin to talk to the business enterprises, then they will recognize you. Within a short time, I may not be able to cover everything, but we started studying only economics, entrepreneurship. Then it got extended into society. I never thought I would go and study society because here all are interconnected in India. Interconnection is there. I have very many examples to show how this society, Indian society, is functioning on its own, based on our traditional strength. In the eastern coast of Tamil Nadu, there are societies, uh, there are villages, hundreds of villages, which don't require any police station at all. They solve all their problems. So they don't go to police station. They don't go to courts. They solve all their problems. And this is how our societies function even today. So what we have to understand is that we have to Indianize our education system. One thing NEP has come, NEP will help us in a long way to understand the Indian societies. But right now it is time for us as individuals, as teachers, as colleges, as universities to start this work. And it doesn't require much money. In all our subjects, social science subject, We need not go to labs and all. What we require is we have to go to the society. So take a pen and paper, go to the society, find out what is happening at the uh, field level, then document it. So once we do it, then we can develop our own curriculum, our own case studies. This is very easy. So I'm very happy that the theme of this conference is innovative approaches in social work education and practice, evidences from different fields of social work in India. What we require immediately is native approaches. So native approaches in social work education and practice is needed now. To make it happen, you use innovative methods, you use the local methods. So once you do it, certainly we will be able to succeed. And I hope and feel that with many of you scholars, teachers, young professionals assembled here for this 3-day national conference, I hope that certainly you would be able to do it. So this is time for us to change ourselves, to reorient ourselves. And I believe that this conference would be a stepping stone for this. I thank all of you, particularly my dear friend Dr. Kanagaraj Iswaran. I am very happy. I wish the annual conference all success, and I hope that based on the feedback that you get, you take steps to reorient, change the syllabi, course content, and all, so that the profession of social work would become more relevant, more important in the Indian context. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words and inspiring us with some new innovative ideas. So while you were talking about the three entities and how they connect each other and how we can develop the nation with working with the three entities. So I recall myself when in our profession as well, we work on the three levels, which is casework, group work, and society, community organization. So thank you, sir, for this golden words.
Thank
And
you.
yes, sir. And I guess we have get a new idea as well to how to connect the social sciences discipline so that we can make one entity as well. And thank you, sir. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for your words, kind words. I hope we all have gained some insight uh, how we can develop the nation and how we can develop the society and while working in this innovative approach. Next, moving towards the vote of thanks. For this, I would like to call Dr. Praful Kapse, sir, who is the Joint Secretary of ISPSW as well. So, over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you, Atafullah. And first of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Dr. K. Sabapati for a wonderful chief guest address. And this is, this is very much eye-opening. And most of the times, our beloved President, sir, also focuses on indigenized social work, and that is very much highlighted by our chief guest also, that if you want to understand the society and do better for the society, then you must get into society, understand what is the situation on ground. And this is very surprising that we have been in this social media world these days. Many of the YouTubers and influencers, finance influencers are provoking Indian population that you should save your money. But I was astonished to know that there are 31% population which is saving, and compared to global situation, we are far more ahead in saving. And this highlights the importance of understanding our own theory, our own traditional wisdom that we have in our India, and then how we can inculcate into our day-to-day practice. I once again thank you, Sabapati sir, for this wonderful chief guest address. We are very honored to listen your wisdom. Then I also thank our beloved President sir, Professor Kanagaraj Iswaran, He is the backbone, and he is always inspiring us with all his, wisdom and experience in the field of social work. Then I also thank our General Secretary, Dr. Bhupendra Singh, for meticulously organizing each and every event. Our Vice President, Joint Secretaries, and other Ispsw office bearers for their wonderful support in organizing this conference. I once again thank everyone, every participants who are attending this on online mode for gracing with your presence to this inauguration function. So with the permission of President, I would say this inauguration is found successful. Thank you everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir, for the vote of thanks. Next, in the last, we'll have to raise for the national anthem. So I request Bhupen sir to play the national anthem and
Just a second, something went wrong.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल वंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
thank you, sir. Thank you, President sir, Professor Kanagraj sir, Bhupen sir, Naren sir, and Kapse sir. So I would like to end the inaugural session over here. The participant and the host can reside over here for our next oration program. We would like to start in few minutes.
Thank you, Ataullah, for handling this whole program
Thank you, sir.
effectively and very precisely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.